Samuel Adams is not just a name in a textbook. He was the voice that stirred a continent, the mind that shaped rebellion, and the spirit that refused silence in the face of tyranny. His influence rippled through taverns, churches, meeting halls, and newspapers. He was relentless, tireless, and focused not on fame or fortune, but on preserving the dignity of a free people. Today, he's often overshadowed by flashier founders. But without Adams, the American Revolution might have lacked the will to begin. When others paused to negotiate, he called for resolve. When others sought to calm the storm, he gathered the winds. His life asks us a pressing question. What made him so dangerous to empires and so essential to liberty? This is a story of conviction, sacrifice, and the hard work of building a republic from resistance. And it begins in Boston. Adams was born in 1722 in the city of Boston, Massachusetts Bay. His family was modest, but principled. His father, a deacon and local political figure, taught Samuel that moral duty came before material gain. From a young age, Adams was taught to distrust unchecked power and to believe in the sovereignty of the people. These lessons would anchor his future. He attended Harvard at age 14, where he studied theology, ethics, and political theory. He read deeply from Locke, Cicero, and the Bible, forming a moral and philosophical worldview that emphasized natural rights and civic duty. But while others chased careers or profit, Adams questioned authority and embraced the role of the engaged citizen. He wasn't a brilliant businessman. In fact, he failed in most business ventures, but he never failed to speak out. His character was shaped by hardship, religious conviction, and intellectual rigor. He believed that liberty was not a privilege granted by governments, but a God-given right. And when that liberty came under threat, Adams didn't hesitate to act. He didn't just react to events. He framed them, explained them, and gave people the language to resist. Adams found his voice in ink. As a contributor to the Boston Gazette, he used pseudonyms to write powerful essays that questioned British rule and stirred public debate. He crafted persuasive narratives, often blending fact with moral urgency. He didn't just inform. He shaped the public mood. His words made tyranny visible and resistance respectable. He helped organize the first committees of correspondence, laying the groundwork for unified colonial resistance. These committees were more than letter-writing clubs. They became the nervous system of the revolution, connecting towns, spreading news, and coordinating defiance. Without them, unity would have been impossible. Adams was a master of public persuasion. He convened town meetings, led protests, and made resistance personal. While others hesitated, Adams built movements, and those movements changed history. In 1765, Parliament imposed the Stamp Act, a tax that struck every newspaper, legal document, and license. To Adams, this wasn't just taxation. It was a direct assault on colonial self-governance. He declared, "If our trade may be taxed, why not our lands? Why not the produce of our lands, and everything we possess or make use of?" The implications were clear: submit now or lose all. Adams helped rally mass opposition. Out of this movement, the Sons of Liberty were born, a group of craftsmen, laborers, and patriots determined to resist British control. Though he wasn't violent himself, Adams understood that symbolic acts mattered. He supported protests, boycotts, and demonstrations that made Parliament take notice. The Stamp Act was repealed, not by polite requests, but by organized resistance. Adams saw that public pressure, coordinated and principled, could move empires. It was a revelation. The people, when united, could restrain even kings. The world was beginning to hear the voice of a new kind of citizen, one who demanded to be heard and refused to be ruled without consent. In 1770, tensions between British soldiers and Boston citizens exploded. 5 colonists were killed. The Boston Massacre became a rallying cry, but it was Samuel Adams who ensured it wouldn't fade. He labeled it a massacre, ensured widespread coverage, and used the event to build momentum against British presence. He understood the power of imagery and repetition. He turned the deaths of 5 men into a symbol of systemic oppression. Later, when Parliament passed the Tea Act in 1773, Adams saw another threat, not in the cost of tea, but in the principle behind it. He said, "The issue is whether we shall be free or whether we shall be slaves." In a meeting at Old South Meeting House, Adams signaled the moment. This meeting can do nothing more to save the country. It was a cue. That night, the Boston Tea Party sent a message the world couldn't ignore. Britain responded with harsh measures. Adams responded with resolve. The colonies were no longer just resisting, they were preparing. In 1774, Adams traveled to Philadelphia as a delegate to the First Continental Congress. There, he met leaders from other colonies and helped build consensus for resistance. He pushed for unity, not delay. When war began at Lexington and Concord, Adams was already on British wanted lists. He said, "What a glorious morning for America!" as the first shots were fired. He remained a central figure at the Second Continental Congress, supporting independence long before it was popular. He signed the Declaration of Independence and helped write the Articles of Confederation. But his focus remained on virtue and vigilance. He believed the success of the Republic depended not just on laws, but on the character of its people. He warned that the liberties of our country, the freedom of our civil constitution, are worth defending at all hazards. Adams was not just fighting a king, he was building a citizenry, one that knew its rights and felt the duty to protect them. After the Revolution, Adams served as governor of Massachusetts and continued to speak on behalf of the people. He opposed unchecked power and warned against forgetting the cost of liberty. He was skeptical of strong, centralized government and favored civic engagement. He remained consistent to his ideals, even when others turned to comfort. Adams understood that freedom must be maintained, not merely won. He wrote, "Let each citizen remember at the moment he is offering his vote that he is not making a present or a compliment to please an individual, but that he is executing one of the most solemn trusts in human society." He died in 1803, largely out of the spotlight. But the system he helped create still stands, because he fought to awaken the moral sense of the people. In a time when governments grow large and voices grow quiet, Adams teaches us that true dissent is not rebellion, but responsibility. He reminds us that the real guardians of liberty are not those who hold office, but those who hold fast to principle. He reminds us that freedom is never finished. It must be earned by each generation, and that the Republic only survives if we keep the conversation alive.